this is a follow-up video on more in depth on why this draft from Fnatic might have been the worst draft of the year in all regions, LCK, LPL, and so on. So you can notice a lot of champs are gone. So in all, this is game 3, so a lot of junglers, mid, AD carry, and so on is gone. So J4 is a high prio champion. Wukong Panth is gone. So J4 makes a lot of sense. So since I was open, this is the next tier, like high tier. So that's kind of obvious. So this is fine. And it's a preference thing if J4 or Sinzao is better, depending on the composition. So far so good. I mean, at least the first pick from Fnatic makes sense. And the bans makes a lot of sense. Actually, I think Yunara's fine. Like Kiana, you could argue, is also a good jungler at the moment, but obviously they're not going to pick it. Blinding Victor is so risky. Because I don't think he's an S-tier champ. And even though a lot of mids are gone, it doesn't make a lot of sense to blind them, even if Oriana's gone, Talaya's gone, and so on. So now they pick Seri, and you can't pick Jonas gone, but Seri, and you're gonna pick probably something as a support or something, or even mid. So a lot of support. So this makes a lot of sense. You have a lot of CC and engage. The only question now becomes, what can you punish Seri North with, right? So you have to think before the ban phase. So you can go the ultra late game with something like Smolder, Jinx, Aphelios, something like that, or you can try to punish. So Braum, now it's kind of obvious you want to go Braum Lucian. Like Braum is really, really good into Nautilus and lane. So Braum Lucian would be quite normal. But because Nautilus is so good into Braum is so good into Nautilus, you can still pair it with Jinx, Aphelios, and so on. But the question now, you have no hard engage. Like, what you're gambling on as Fnatic is Sinzao is stronger early game and Victor has longer range. So we're gonna... The composition right now screams we're gonna have longer range and we're gonna kite back. So it makes a lot of sense to have a Jinx or something like that. But the issue is 6 is open and 6 does well into Victor in lane, or it pretty good, and he outranges. The other issue right now is that you have nothing, literally nothing, to lock down Seri. It's almost impossible. So Smolder Jinx would make a lot of sense if you're gonna try to kite backwards, because you have fucking no engage. It's insane. So in this spot, you should have picked something like Jinx, Smolder, Aphelios, something that scales well, because if you're gonna kite back because you have no hard engage, like primary engage as Fnatic, if Seri gets 3 items, it's a GG because you have nothing to lock it down. And this is really smart from Koi. 6 does well into Victor, and you have a lot of poke, you have range, and you have disengage and engage. And now you just blind the Cassandra. And Ornn is gone, so it's no good engage champs left in top lane. And Cassandra would do well into all of those bruiser like tank engaged champs anyway. So Fnatic figured out, okay, we need to have something that can win the lane, and Yorick is one of those that win lanes. But now you see the issue. Since they picked Brown Lucian, they need to stomp lanes so freakishly hard, rotate to mid, like take every Drake and objective, get Lucian 1 to 2 items, break down mid, and just have permanently push in mid lane and try to catch somebody on objective, forcing them to face check. Koi need to get forced to face check them on one of the objectives. And because 6 was open, you arguably not even outranging with Victor because of 6Q, ult, and so on. But the bigger problem is you have no engage. So every fight is going to be, because they have 6 to poke, every fight that happens now is going to be on Koi's, when Koi forced the fight. Like, Fnatic have no tools to force a fight unless Yorick gets so fucking big that he can dive or just ignore Cassandra and literally end in one of the side lanes, which should never and will probably never happen. But that's literally the only one win condition Fnatic has at this point. So bot lane need to stomp, mid lane need to have permanently prio, so Sinsao can invade, and top needs to have prio. But that's not realistic at all. And Lucian Brown will have prio and push and some pressure on lane, but it's actually quite an okay lane for Seri if they don't do anything. Yes, they will bleed a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. And mid should be in an even state. So Cassandra will at some point get pushed in, but I mean, you have only win con because Yorick gets so fed that like Koi feels forced to do a random engage. It's horrible. Or you can, I mean, hope they suck. Like I said in the other video, I mean, it's so horrendous. They should have thought since how pick was fine, and then you need to think, okay, if we're gonna go Victor, we need to make sure the enemy composition doesn't have anything that equal range or outranges us. And then you go heavy scaling AD carry. In this case, I think Smolder Jinx would be better. And then you kite backward when they engage and hope for a Jinx reset. Like Victor get 3 items, Jinx get 3 items, Koi engage, you get 1 reset, and you can win the fight. At this point, you can't win because when 3 items, 4 items come in, Lucian won't do anything to Cassandra, and Victor will need more items. And it's kind of impossible to lock down Seri because you don't have any hard point click and CC, and you are pretty low range besides Victor as well. And Cassandra will hold Yorick for a long, long time. It's not like Yorick will ever get like an insane lead in that matchup anyway. So Fnatic did, like, Koi should get credit. They drafted quite smart, I will say, but Fnatic's draft was so insanely bad because when you don't think about, they just thought, okay, we're gonna kite back with Victor, and then oh fuck, 6 is open, and then okay, I guess we try to win lane because if we pick Jinx and into Seri, it's more an even lane state, and I guess we hope we can just let Sinsao invade. I mean, it doesn't feel like it was really well planned out at all. And was a little bit surprising since you saw J4 first, and then you saw Seri. So it was kind of obvious. And that's kind of also why I was a little bit surprised with Victor on the first rotation. Sure, a lot of mids are gone, like Oriana, one of Poby's better champs. I mean, Yoan is for Jojo, I guess, and EU fetish, but Talia was gone, Galio was gone, but blinding Victor like this is generally not a good idea. And just imagine you have the Seri and they pick something like TF, like sure Victor will push, but the pressure you will get bot lane, for example, with a TF for Koi would be great. I think 6 is better, but just imagining other mid laners, like obviously Asir is permanently gone. Interesting with Soul, I guess. Rise is gone, so a lot of the mids are gone. It's not like that, but that doesn't mean you can just blind Victor like that, especially when you don't have a plan for the rest of like the composition. You need some sort of engage, or you need disengage and outranging. You can't let the enemy team have all the engage, equal or better range, outscaling, tank. I mean, the only thing Koi doesn't have is better early game in lane and item spikes, and side laning. But K'Sante can hold Yorick for such an insane long time, and you have literally nothing to lock down Seri. So yeah, those are just a few things that are wrong, and you could actually go so much more in depth on why Fnatic draft was so bad, and obviously the drafting from Koi was good, but Fnatic made it so insanely easy. It was actually quite surprising.